Hello, Sheila. Good morning, everyone. Please, if you will, share, and we'll get started in just a second. Share with your followers, invite them in, and we'll get started with all the news. Thank you for retweeting. Thank you for inviting everybody in and sharing. Hey, Renee, Karen, Rick, Janice, how are you? How is everybody? Good to see you. Hey, Carol, good to see you. How are you doing? Thank you for retweeting, everyone. Hey, Clara, good to see you as well. Glad everybody is here. Good morning, crazy day already. Well, Renee, it's probably going to get crazier, right? I don't think you mean with your personal life, you just mean in the world in general, right? Because that's going to get crazier. As we saw yesterday, it got really crazy yesterday, and it's just going to get crazier and crazier when you have the Democrats in control of the House. Hey, Harley Guy, how are you? Good to see everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, Renee, I know. It's just insane. I mean, it really is. So, we have to just know that that's coming. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. Have to know that that's coming. Have to expect it, and have to just move on from that, and just know that this is what we're going to see. Now, hey, Liz, good to see you. So happy to see you, my voice of reason. Thank you, Janice. I'm glad that you're here. Before we get started, I usually yeah, thank you, Renee. You just took the words right out of my mouth. Before we get started, I usually say a prayer here, or read a scripture, I should say. Today, I want to say a prayer instead of reading the scripture. And right after the prayer, we'll get started. So if you will pray with me today on what I'm about to pray for. So, Father God, I pray that today that you would just be with us. Be with us in this Periscope, God. Let everything work well on Periscope. Let everybody who's having technical issues resolve those issues, God, so that your voice can be heard today, God. I ask you especially, God, to watch over the President of the United States as he is in Dallas, Texas tonight at a rally. Those people who may come against him, God, I ask that you destroy his enemies and all those who afflict his soul, for he is your servant. As you have said in Psalm 143, verse 12, that you will, God, protect us and you will destroy the enemies of us when we are doing your will and acting as your servant. I ask that you do that tonight, God, and protect him always as the President of the United States. I pray that you would also protect Vice President Pence and Pompeo as they are over in Turkey and doing what they need to do over there. And God, I would especially just pray for the truth today. I would pray that all those trying to come against this president, trying not only to come against this president, but to come against this nation, God, that you would deal with them in your own way, and that you would allow for the truth to be shown and for the enemy to be destroyed. And we pray, God, for America, that America will turn back to you, God, and give our hearts and our souls back to you, so that we can turn this country around according to your will. And it's all, as always, God, your will be done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Claiming his promise, Janice said, there's a lot of Dems saying wicked stuff against our beloved president. Absolutely, Mike. Hey, Jeremy Hansen, good morning. Tim Marvin, good to see you. So let's get started tonight. I hope is a really good rally for the president. And again, you have to be careful too much about what you watch on TV all day long, because all you're going to see typically are lies from the left, and it gets to be very heavy. It's a burden, and that's exactly what they want it to be. They're not looking at doing what's good for America. They're looking to do what's good for themselves. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you. All right, so let's get started on some of the stuff. He has learned that he does not care what they say. Exactly, Barbara. Good morning, Karen. Good to see you over there on YouTube. All right, so as in the breaking news that we have, we all know that Elijah Cummings, Representative Elijah Cummings, a Maryland congressman, a Democrat, and chair of the House Oversight and Reform Committee has died due to complications from long-standing health challenges. He was 68 years old. And I didn't know this until today, but he hasn't been speaking before Congress, hasn't been present since September the 11th. So I guess, he's been really sick. Nobody really knew about it. Nobody really talked about it. It was too much, I guess, talking about destroying President Trump, so they didn't have time to talk about anything or anybody else. So Nancy, I looked at her Twitter feed, hey Sherry, to see what she said this morning about him. She didn't say anything, but apparently she's having another press conference, hopefully not laughing this time like she normally does, inappropriately. Yeah, he was under hospice care, Elaine. He died in hospice, they said. Poor guy, maybe his drugs were messing with his head too, Barbara said. I don't know. He had a lot of different health issues, so I'm not really sure which one finally took him. But again, I was looking for Nancy to have said something on her Twitter feed. She didn't, but apparently she's going to be saying something and addressing that. I did see a lot of hashtag rest in power tweets and some crazy things being said from some crazy people, but that's not surprising. But it is a passing. He was a human, and rest in peace is all I can say. Now, one of the things that is kind of disappointing for me is that we haven't yet censured Schiff for doing what he did when he got up and he basically made up what was on the transcript. They should have informed the voters. True, Elaine. She's speaking about, yeah, that's what I thought, Dawn. Hey, Lee, good to see you. CBD oil. Pilot Mike said she's right now. Yeah, I know. I'm avoiding her because she is inappropriate in most of what she does. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, that I think that we had 125, I believe, Republicans that have signed on to censure Schiff. I don't know where it's going to go, but we should have all members of the GOP House signing on to censure Schiff and trying to move that forward. They can get everything done. They can do... they can do a resolution, vote on a resolution against President Trump. What was it, 354 to 60? I would like it if anybody has that list of 60 Republicans who went against the president. I would love to see that. But again, that it seems like the Democrats can always seem to get things done. Periscope problems. Harley guy, just go out and come back in, or just go to YouTube or Facebook. But I think if you go out and come back in, she's a Botox drunk whose mind has gone, Barbara said. Dawn said she's a flake. Nancy seriously has some issues. I don't know what they are, but listening to her account, hey Teresa, of what went on yesterday and everybody else's account of what went on yesterday is absolutely 180. So I don't really know what her issue is, but I know that there were people, hey Chesney, people who were on Twitter yesterday just congratulating her for standing up and pointing her finger at the president. And to me, it's like, I wouldn't have expected anybody to do that to Obama, and I didn't like Obama. I think it's totally disrespectful. Harley Guy said McConnell already prepping reps for impeachment. Yep. Yeah. Which is really, I guess that's what he should do, but, he also should be fighting it, but he doesn't seem to be. Also, the ones who don't support Trump on Syria, yep, Leo said keep the faith. McCarthy is a weak leader chosen by Paul Ryan. Tim said she planned to be a witch when she walked in. Oh, she didn't stop being a witch on everything. I mean, look at the Democrat Party where it is now. The Democrat Party is the Socialist Party now. You've got people on the Socialist Party, the Jezebel Squad, who have all by now, have endorsed Bernie Sanders, who's an independent, not even from their own party. And that's how far left that they've gone. What a sad state of affair. I don't know how you can be a Democrat today. I really don't understand it. I clean my Twitter to be MAGA block fools, Barbara said. Yeah. I've been blocking a lot of people on Twitter because I refuse to deal with craziness, and more trolls are coming on there. You can see that they've just popped on, probably being paid by the Democrats. They've got maybe 7 people, and they're coming after people, and that's again because I think they're getting paid. That's what they're doing. So I've just chosen to go ahead and um, block those people. Wasn't there a governor who pointed at Obama and everyone condemned her? Yes, it was the Arizona governor. Good morning, Susan, from Pat and Linda. Hello, Pat and Linda. Want to know who she pays praise to? Honestly, a very fallen Catholic. Barbara said, "Yeah, even the Catholics are very disappointed in Nancy, but what can they do?" Barbara, we friends on Twitter. Harley said, Harley Guy wants to know if you and he are on friends on Twitter. Okay, so let me also, I want to talk a little bit about, and we'll get back to Nancy because I got a lot to say about her. But today I wrote an article on my website, and let me see if I can bring that up. Get it up there. Everything is just so slow. I don't get it. It's like, go on, let's go. Whoo, it should be there, and it doesn't get there. All right. So today I wrote an article about, is it time to reassess Turkey's role as a U.S. ally after what their bank allegedly did? Don't know if you've had an opportunity to read this article. I hope that you would read it, and I hope that you would share it with everyone. Mainstream media is not telling you about Turkey. They're standing up in news conferences and lying and saying that the president gave a green light, which he didn't do, which he pointed out yesterday to the ABC reporter. I never gave a green light, and you're giving fake news. Nancy Pelosi is the mob. Yes, Jeremy, she is. Trolls on Facebook as well. Tim said, yes. Remember when Jan Brewer from Arizona pointed her finger at Obama? The left went nuts. Yes, Cully. That's the Arizona governor I was talking about that pointed her finger. Carly Guy said, yes, great article. Thank you. Now, have you heard anything about this? So I'll tell you a little bit about what is in the article. One of Turkey's largest banks, Halk Bank, I guess is how you pronounce it, has allegedly participated in the largest Iran sanctions violation in United States history. And the Justice Department is alleging that high-ranking government officials in Turkey participated in and protected this scheme, with some receiving bribes worth tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, I wonder who else may have been involved in that. Should we be looking at the usual suspects, those from Ukraine on the Democrat side? Is there somebody there? Is there somebody there from our own Rhino side, right? Who doesn't want everything to end in Syria? Who likes to keep things going? And Lindsey Graham had something interesting to say, and we'll talk about him in a moment in regards to Turkey. Now, in essence, reports on this indicate that billions, with a B, billions of dollars worth of gold and cash were illegally transferred from Turkey's bank to Iran in exchange for oil and gas. And you remember, Iran could not legitimately deal in oil and gas because we had sanctions against them, and we were sanctioning people who would deal with Iran. We were saying, look, we're sanctioning Iran. You can't deal with them. So behind our backs, I guess, Turkey was dealing with them. However, I think the lawyers and maybe even our own government has known for a while that Turkey was doing this and held off bringing criminal charges. Well, the other day, when Turkey decided to do what they did and going into Syria and maybe not doing it, the appropriate way, President Trump and the United States has filed a criminal lawsuit against them for the Halk Bank for allegedly doing business with Iran in violations of the Iran sanctions violations. So good, again, Turkey may be our ally, but we're not letting them get away with stuff. And I think it's a good thing, but nobody's talking about this. Now, one of the things I talked about the other day on God's Views was this award-winning columnist, Caroline Glick, who wrote The Israeli Solution, a one-state plan for peace in the Middle East. Here's what she had to say about Turkey and under Erdogan's administration. She said Turkey has stood against the United States and its interests far more often than it has stood with it, across the spectrum of issues from Israel to human rights, Hamas and ISIS to Turkish aggression against Cyprus, Greece, and Israel in the Eastern Mediterranean, to upholding U.S. economic sanctions against Iran and beyond for nearly 20 years. Erdogan's Turkey has distinguished itself as a strategic threat to America's core interests and policies and those of its closest allies in the Middle East. She said, despite the compelling, ever-growing body of evidence that the time has come to reassess U.S.-Turkish ties, the Pentagon refuses to engage in that issue. So maybe, just maybe, with all that is happening, it's past time to look at it and wonder if it's time to reassess our alliance with Turkey. Beth says, amen. Blessings, Patriots. Hello, Beth. Hello, Kim. Good to see you. Another liberal bites the dust. Baron Gay says. She is spot on. Dawn said, yeah, I mean, hey, Wayne, good morning. It is past time to look and see what's going on and with Turkey. And you know, one of the things that we have that base there in Turkey, and people were wondering, you know, should we go ahead and move our nuclear weapons out of Turkey, which some say they're holding hostage. So anyway, again, we'll get to a minute what Lindsey Graham has been saying. I'll just go ahead and do it now, because Lindsey's a rhino. Lindsey is a neocon. The president kind of pointed that out yesterday. So let me see if I can bring up what he said and get this up for you, and let you hear how he's bragging with
tactical nuclear weapons at Incirlik in Turkey. Erdogan is really in control of that now, isn't he? Or how do we get that huge air base? Are we going to just abandon that, or is Erdogan going to take it away from us?
Bye.
We've got 50 tactical nuclear weapons at Incirlik in Turkey. Erdogan is really in control of that now, isn't he? Or how do we get that huge air base? Are we going to just abandon that, or is Erdogan going to take it away from us?
Over my dead body. I miss Ronald Reagan. Pat, you're old enough to know what American strength looks like. Do you think Erdogan would have done this if Reagan had been around? Do you think Assad would have done what he had done if Reagan had been around? So this is Trump's chance, my friend, to be like Ronald Reagan. We've got a pair of aces, and they've got a pair of twos. Give me a break. The Turkish economy is feeble. I applaud President Trump's sanctions against Turkey, a 50% tariff on Turkish steel. I'm going to introduce sanctions tomorrow with Democrats that are going to be sanctions from hell. They're going to be like Iranian sanctions against Turkey. I'm going to break this thug's back. We're going to stand by the military. And to President Trump, if you're listening to this interview, if you remove all of our forces from Syria, you're throwing the Kurds over, ISIS will come back on your watch, and Iran will take over, and you, my friend, will be in great jeopardy of losing an election we can't afford you to lose. So don't be like Obama, be like Reagan, stand up to Erdogan.
Oh, sorry. Let me bring myself back up on that. You know, Lindsey, did you hear how Lindsey was talking? Did you hear what he was saying? Do you see? I don't trust this guy. I don't either, Harley Guy. He's too much of a neocon. Lindsey better stay with Trump, or he may be removed. Yeah, Oregon Patriot. He should be. Pat Robertson is part of the deep state. That was the most pathetic thing that I've seen. Come on, ISIS, come back, please, Beth said. Listen, here's the thing of it is, and we have to keep remembering this, because the Democrats keep trying to make you forget. They keep trying to make you, and the rhinos like Lindsey Graham. What happened before we ever went into Syria? Okay, we weren't into Syria in the first place. Then we started having, ISIS started moving into Syria. Obama said, let's go into Syria. This will be only 30 days. We'll go in, we'll wipe out the ISIS, and we'll be gone. So we go into Syria in 2011 with Obama and McCain giving weapons to gets in the hands of the wrong people, all that stuff. We fought, didn't do any good, didn't do very much good at all. And what happened, because of Obama and who he was, the weak-kneed guy that he was, here comes Russia. Russia comes into Syria, aligns with Assad, and says, "You're not doing a regime change, Obama." And Obama said, I'm sorry, you're right. Let me bow down. You, Russia, you do whatever. You're in charge, Russia. You go ahead." So he backs down. He lets Russia take over in Syria and protecting Assad. And then by doing that, here comes Iran. So he let all these people in. He let Russia in. He let Iran in. Wasn't it Turkey that had flotilla going to Hamas or Hezbollah that Israel raided, then were attacked, and then Israel forced to apologize for raiding? They've never been our friends. Another 10 years like Afghanistan, Beth said. I know. And so what happened was, we never had a strong presence in Syria in the first place. We just kind of, we didn't send that many people over there. And so to hear Lindsey Graham and all these people on the left talk, you would think that we've got in like 20,000 troops over there and we're protecting Syria, and without us being there, everything's going to fall and Israel's going to fall and, blah, blah, blah. But did you hear Lindsey, over his dead body, was he going to allow Turkey for us to close down the bases in Turkey? Why, Lindsey? Why do you want to be so involved in the Middle East? Something here tells me that there's money for you in the Middle East. Not a fair comparison, Reagan to Trump. Reagan was not fighting off impeachment on a daily basis. And I don't understand, Patrick, that to me that was a cheap shot, and that's all it was meant to be. Like, well, Reagan, nothing would have happened if Reagan had done this. President Trump has done more to stop wars, quote unquote wars, than anybody else. Look at North Korea. People, oh my gosh, they're going to attack us at any time. He took care of that. He's taken care of a lot of things. What he did, again, if you would listen to my God's views on political news on this past Tuesday, you can find it at SusanKnowles.com. You can find it on Periscope. I explained to you all of this stuff and why the president, the move that he made, is a brilliant move. An absolutely brilliant move that brings our troops home, gets us out of the Middle East, stops us with the regime change, makes Turkey have to deal with Syria and Iran and Russia, makes Turkey have to go up against, the Sunnis and the Shias now, right? They're going to be fighting against each other. If anything, they're going to have to work it out. And even the Kurds went ahead and they worked it out. The Kurds have said, let's align with Syria. Great for them. Why do we need to be over there? They're working it out. Agreed, Susan. Beth said, Hanover, Pennsylvania here. Well, good to see you, Michelle. Times were different when Reagan was president. Harley guy, absolutely. We didn't have ISIS. I've been known to defend Mr. Graham. This was my deal breaker, Janice said. Yeah. Lindsey Graham, I think people in South Carolina, you need to tell Lindsey Graham, just like President Trump said, you need to get back doing what you're supposed to do. You don't need to be doing John McCain's work from the grave over there in Syria. We don't need to be in Syria. And I think I saw Rick say Ezekiel 38 and 39. That's going to come about. And guess what? We're not going to be there. And we are not going to protect Israel for whatever reason, whether it's us saying, look, it's not our interest. We're not protecting our interests, and we're not going to protect them. We are not supposed to protect them when the Ezekiel 38 and 39 war starts out, according to the Bible. We're not going to be protecting them. This is allowing identity of all rhinos. It sure is, Clara. It's loud and clear who they are. And I've named them for you over the last couple days. Cheney, Graham, Nikki Haley, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz even. Either you're with the president or you're against, plain and simple, Harley said. Yeah. And not only that, Harley, but, again, and I can't stress this enough. And I know I keep telling you this, and it probably irritates some of you. But if you go and you listen to the evidence that I have brought together, you can see strategically how this works out so beautifully. I mean, it really does. And you know what's going on over in Turkey? Most of it has stopped already because the Kurds aligned with Syria. You couldn't have asked for a better outcome. You really couldn't have. And I mean, it was all done without, like President Trump said yesterday, no Americans were killed. No Americans were killed. And the Kurds, he said this and people didn't like it. He said, many of the Kurds aren't angels. They're not. You know, we can sit here and pretend that the Kurds are just wonderful, wonderful people, but not all Kurds are wonderful, wonderful people. Well, said it's glowing in our faces now. I wish that you would take the time, that if you're not familiar with all the pieces that were put together, that you would take the time to watch the God's Views on political news and see it all put together, and how this president went about doing this without any war, without Americans dying, wanting to bring our troops home. In many ways, Paul Ryan opened that rhino door. Yeah, he did. He really did. But if you go and you look at this, this was brilliant. And this is why the rhinos don't like it. This is why the Democrats don't like it. They're trying to do a resolution, trying to get the president to reverse course. Reverse course and do what? All of it's settled. All of it's done already. What do you want to do? You want a reverse course and tell the Kurds they can go back where they were, and tell Turkey get into war with an ally? And again, whether you want to be an ally with Turkey or not, we are an ally with Turkey. We don't fight our allies. If that's going to change, then the Pentagon is going to have to get involved in that. Congress is going to have to get involved in that. And you heard Lindsey Graham over his dead body. Are they ever going to shut down the bases in Turkey? Why do we? I don't know. Why do we necessarily need to be there? I don't know. I mean, I know strategically sometimes we need to fly out of there, but what's going to happen in the future with Turkey? If they're doing this, if they're going behind our backs and violating sanctions that we have against Iran, what else are they doing that we don't know? What did Ted do that you're so mad at? He's fighting impeachment. Guess I missed something. He was against the president pulling out over there in Syria. Trump has outplayed them, and they don't like it. Harley Guy, he absolutely has. He shut down the money-making factory that these people seem to glom onto, the Democrats and the rhinos. I believe Trump can live with dead Kurds, but he cannot nor will not live with dead Americans. Bravo, Trump, Patrick said. No, they aren't angels, and neither are we, but they did protect fellow Christians in the region and did it when we weren't there. Totally agree with bringing our troops home, but don't agree with sending them to Saudi Arabia after saying you're bringing them home. I respect this decision. Yeah, well, they're not. He's not sending them to Saudi Arabia. They're in Syria, Dawn. They're not in Saudi Arabia. They're in Syria. No more war, Elaine said. Yep, Turkey won't be our friend in the end times. That's true, Danielle. Susan, I'm seeing a lot of chatter about big containers on the coast. I don't know what that is, Clara. I saw one guy who had a film of a train with military equipment on it. That happens all the time. I don't want to get into conspiracy theory stuff, you know. If I see something that you can put two and two together, then they can talk about it. But I'm not into conspiracy theories. We see their loyalties now, Beth said. Oh, Teddy changes his mind when we yell at him and he's been on Hong Kong. Yeah, well, you need to keep yelling at him, Barbara, and get him aligned. Don't let him turn into a Lindsey Graham, you know. But I don't think President Trump. He sent more than 1,000 troops to Saudi Arabia. I think he sent 3,000. You know why he sent 3,000? Because we have interests in Saudi Arabia. We have interest. We have interest in also fighting against Iran, who is fighting against Saudi Arabia. As the president said, we're not gonna keep doing things unless we have an interest. We're not gonna keep protecting people unless we have an interest. We have an interest, and so we don't have an interest in Syria. We don't have an interest. Lindsey Graham apparently has an interest. We don't have an interest. And I don't think the president, again, I think what people are mistaking, the president did not give a green light, Dawn, for the Kurds to be killed. He did not. That's what people are saying in the mainstream media, because they want to make it look like that this president didn't care about the Kurds and he let them be killed. That's not the truth. It isn't the truth. Don't panic. The military moves equipment a lot due to drills. Exactly, Harley Guy. We can attack from there if we need to. The new prince is working with us, Clara said. Yeah, we have an interest. And until that stops, if we don't have an interest anymore in Saudi Arabia, we won't be helping Saudi Arabia. And if Israel asked us for help, we would help Israel. And nobody was concerned about Israel when the Russians moved into Syria, when Iran moved into Syria. It's funny. Lindsay's only concerned about, oh, well, ISIS is going to come back. Well, no, they're probably not. Hey, Nina. And if they did, then Russia's going to have to deal with ISIS. Russia dealt with ISIS before. They told us to leave. Russia told us to leave. We'll take care of it, Obama. You just scurry on home to the United States. I understand that. I feel like his hands were tied for sure. After all, 50 troops aren't to stop an army. Don, he said yesterday that it wasn't even 50 troops. We had somebody had told him within the administration it was only about 28 people. That wasn't even 50. Boom, Susan. Yes, yes, yes. Beth said Pelosi is the one who turned her back on the Kurds. Yeah, but that's nothing new. These Republicans that flip on Trump instead of supporting him just disgust me, Karen said. Nina said, exactly. Get out of the sandbox except for Israel. Exactly, Elaine. And in the end, no one will be defending Israel. When Ezekiel 38 and 39 happens, no one. And that is because God. Because God. And if you don't know what I mean by that, go read Ezekiel 38 and 39. So anyway, again, we have to be careful because all that mainstream media is doing is trying to make it look like that the president gave the green light and said, go ahead, Turkey, kill people. In fact, yesterday, go ahead, Turkey, kill all the Kurds. And they had to do a correction yesterday. Let me see if I can find that. They said they had a previous tweet which misquoted President Trump saying Turkey's invasion into northern Syria is not our problem. He didn't say that. He said they have a problem at a border. It's not our border. And he's right about that. I think more of an open up for the Psalm 83 war. Yeah, I think Isaiah 17 and Psalm 83. But I don't know. I see this as when we move out of Syria, when stuff happens, it is going to heat up over there. It's supposed to. Sorry, but it's supposed to. And it isn't our problem. It isn't our border. It really isn't. We can't continue to go over and fight every Middle Eastern battle that there is. Middle East battle. We can't do it. If you believe anything CNN says, you're definitely brainwashed. Exactly, Kim. I swipe. Oh, you swiped out. Well, you're back, Beth. That's good. So anyway, they're having to give corrections because again they're misquoting the president. They're putting their spin on it because they want to make you think that he is a murderous president who doesn't give a crap about the Kurds, and that just absolutely is not the truth. Besides, those 28 are not allowed to fight unless they're fired on. So how does that help? Exactly. They would have been slaughtered, Barbara, had it been anybody but Turkey. I don't think Turkey would have slaughtered them, but you certainly aren't going to be able to do anything. And it's like the president said yesterday, the Kurds, deliberately, he believes, let some of the ISIS people go so they could put a spin on it too and say, oh, look, look at ISIS is coming back. Why is Israel our problem then? Mark, it's not there. Israel is not our problem. We work with Israel because they're an ally. We work with Israel because this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. We work with Israel because that's what God wants us to do. And by doing so, America is blessed. Psalm 83 is Sunni Shia war. Well, that is definitely coming, Dawn. How interesting they want to protect Syria's border, but not ours. Exactly, Cam. Let's stand over there and tell Turkey what to do with their border, tell Syria what to do with their border, but let's keep ours open. Kurds have killed our people too, Barbara said. We are at the halfway point. If you guys could please retweet and share this. I can't believe how fast the time goes. That's just weird, how uncanny that is. But if you could share, retweet, bring people in, that would be wonderful. Let me fix this 1 second. So it will retweet. All right. And then we'll get on that second half. Okay, Harley guy. Bring your duct tape when you come back. All right. Now let's go on to some other things. I want to kind of get back a little bit to Nancy because Israel has the because Israel has the kingdom so simple. Karen said Trump is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. It's not about the issues with Democrats, about making Trump look bad. Exactly. Harley's back with his duct tape. I know it's awful, but these things have to happen. Just keep looking forward to our king coming. Exactly, Rick. It is happening. We are having fun, Wayne said. So nice to hear again. So many hate Jews. Now it's just disgusting. It is, Nina. And that's going to get worse. Facebook doesn't like when you're talking about it. Keeps freezing up, Dawn said. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Because I said something positive about Jews and, said something about Turkey and whatever. It's because you have great content, Susan. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more, go back and pick up on Nancy. I want you to pray for Nancy because I think there's something wrong with Nancy's health. She said yesterday, pray for the president. She said President Trump had a meltdown and called Speaker Nancy Pelosi a third-rate politician. Okay, well, that's not a meltdown. That's most likely the truth. During a meeting with congressional leaders on the situation in Syria, Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chucky Schumer, told reporters after they left the meeting. Now, Nancy goes into a meeting prepared to storm out of a meeting. She's done this how many times before? And she runs to the camera. Oh, well, he treated me poorly. He wouldn't let me, whatever. So let's talk about what actually did happen, because anything coming out of Nancy's mouth, I'm sorry, it's just, I don't believe it. Not that I ever did, I have to say, but I just don't believe anything that she has to say. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to play it from Twitter, or what she said. It won't play here. So hold on one second. Let me play this for you so that you can hear what she said, if it's still here. Poor Nancy. You just have to hear what she says, because it has to come from the horse's mouth, as they say. So here we go.
I pray for the president all the time, and I tell him that. I pray for his safety and that of his family. I think now we have to pray for his health, because this was a very serious meltdown on the part of the president. I expressed my appreciation for what our troops have done in Syria, and by all accounts from the generals, they have just really done the job very well that he's now pulling out. The explanation for that is what we asked for all members of the House to hear, and that was supposed to be tomorrow, but now they somehow postponed it today. My concern that I expressed to the president is that Russia has for a long time always wanted to have a foothold in the Middle East, and now he has enabled that to happen. And I have concerns about all roads leading to Putin, whether it's a foothold in the Middle East, whether it's placing in doubt any military assistance to Ukraine, which is to the benefit of Putin, whether it's placing in doubt our commitment to NATO, Article 5, which again, all roads lead to Putin. The list goes on and on. That seemed to have angered the president.
Oh my goodness. So you see what she's trying to do? She's still trying to push the Russia narrative and saying all roads lead to Putin. And this will open up a stronghold for Russia in Syria. She thinks that you're stupid. Can I tell you that? She thinks that you are stupid. She thinks that you don't know that Russia has had a stronghold in Syria since about, 2011, 2012. She praised the president while trying to remove him. Give me a break. I know. Obama gave them a foothold. Gray Zone, he allowed them in and welcomed them while bending over. Come on into Syria, take over. They couldn't find enough on him in the Ukraine to impeach, so now they're going to go after his mental ability. That's not going to fly either, Dawn said. Wow, beating the same drum. Beating the same drum, because Beth said, yes, she does. She's never got over the fact that they couldn't put something on him regarding to Russia. And now she's lying. And many of the American people will not understand that she's lying. They will think that President Trump invited Russia in, and this is giving Russia a stronghold when Russia has had a really stronghold there, along with Iran, for a number of years. Maybe she should have her sin go over there. Yeah, that'd be great, Harley. Even before that, Alexis said, do you call that passive aggressive? I call that, I don't want to make fun of her. I'm not making fun of her, but there's something wrong with her. And I'll just leave it at that. She wanted to go in acting, was not allowed to do politics, was next, over and over and over. Nina said, absolutely. Now, I want to play for you when Kevin McCarthy comes out and he tells a different story about what went on. Not surprising. Let me try to get this up here. Have to refresh the page. He tells a different story, so let's hear what he has to say about what Nancy truly did. Whoops. Hold on a second. Here we go.
Just ending a meeting. I see a pattern of behavior with Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She storms out of another meeting, trying to make it unproductive. The other Democrats stayed and actually had a very productive meeting. The General from the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of Defense, and the President in this meeting stated what his number one goal is, to make sure America is safe. Talked with the General, listened to the plan. Very productive between the Democrats who actually stayed in the meeting. Unfortunately, the Speaker tries to make everything political. Her own statements weren't productive. To storm out of a meeting, which I've watched time before during other crises, is really not the ability of a speaker or the style how a speaker should carry herself out. If she would be focusing on the issues that most Americans are concerned about, her whole focus has to be on impeachment. We're sitting here talking about the security of America when we don't even have our defense funding done. But there's no look to do it. The NDAA, the National Defense, we don't have that done. It's still in conference. Talking about prescription drugs, that's not done. We're only 13 months away from an election, but her entire focus and the entire time of their majority has been nothing but an investigation. Here we are with an issue that shouldn't be about Republican or Democrat. It should be about American first. And the only thing I found, those who would stay in the room are those who care the most for the process of solving this problem, making sure that America is safe. And it's concerning to me of her behavior and her actions. It's just unbecoming.
Well, let's just say that it's unbecoming, it's unprofessional, and that's what we're seeing a lot of from Nancy these days. And again, the people on the left think that she was just wonderful. They think that her getting up and pointing her finger at the president, and I don't understand this. I've been trying to understand it, but sometimes the logic the liberal logic, there is no logic in liberal logic, but they were talking about how the president, he's sitting there. Look, he has his hands below the table and he's leaning back to one side. I have no idea what that has to do with anything. I mean, crazy. Yeah, Anita said it was well said. Dueling response, as Beth said. Hey, Monica, I think I saw you come in. She has just lost it. Trump is America's president. Alexis said he absolutely is. And for anybody to look at what she did yesterday and think that was professional and something that you want your Congress member to do, that's why America is in such dire straits right now. I mean, seriously, because we have people who look at that and think that is absolutely wonderful behavior. So I also want to talk a little bit about, let's see, Nancy coming back today and talking about the canceling of the meetings going forward. She said, I'm deeply concerned that the White House has canceled an all-member classified briefing on the dangerous situation that President Trump has caused in Syria, denying the Congress its right to be informed as it makes decisions about our national security. Now, just reading that, she puts it in there. She hopes nobody's going to notice, but puts in there and says the dangerous situation that the president has caused in Syria. And that's supposed, we're just going to give that a pass. We won't even look at that. We'll pretend that that's not there. Every time she goes to the White House, she complains. Exactly. And I think the president has just said, honestly, here's what I think, that the president had that meeting, not because he knew that it was going to be fruitful, but because he knew that he had to kind of for show, and to say, well, we tried to get the Congress involved. They didn't want to get involved. And he knew Nancy was going to do what Nancy always does, which is go in, complain something happened, complain he's mentally ill, and then run out to the cameras. I find it really interesting how Pelosi said she prays for Trump's safety when they were talking. I know, Kim. Why doesn't negative Nancy just retire? Because it's about power and control. There is an anti-impeachment rally in Washington, D.C. Warrior Gal said everybody should go to that. Anybody who's near D.C. or can driving distance, go to it. She was the one who walked out. I know, Harley Guy. And now that's somehow that was gallant and wonderful and showed strength. That's what's coming from the left on that. Bottom line, she's not effective. Nancy does not have the votes, Gray Zone said. Yeah, that's why she's not taking them. Yeah. He knew it was protocol. Exactly. He did what he had to do, and he knew what they were going to do. And now he's saying, I'm not going to have more meetings so that Nancy can storm out and have a reason to get in front of the camera. And Nancy doesn't like it. I reminded Nancy in her tweet, you want to have everything, you want to be in every meeting, you want to hear everything that's going on, but you won't even allow the American people to hear what's going on in your unconstitutional impeachment inquiry. You know, these people are just hypocrites in every way, shape, or form. It's getting more and more ridiculous, and they don't care anymore that they're hypocrites. Another chess move from our brilliant president. Exactly, Claire. Alexis said, P-Brain Pelosi. Something is not right. Okay. Now, President Trump, and this was another thing that people laughed at on the left. I mean, again, this president we know can do nothing that they will find good. I've obtained a copy of real Donald Trump's letter to Erdogan. POTUS warns him to not be a tough guy, don't be a fool. Says he could destroy Turkey's economy if Syria is not resolved in a humane way. And this is a person that was going to talk about it later. They didn't. The left, again, made fun of the letter to Erdogan. And I mean, seriously, I see nothing wrong with the letter. I think it's appropriate. When you don't give the green light in the first place and you warn Turkey, look, keep it up and we'll go ahead and we'll destroy your economy. And I believe that he will do that. And I think that I can see that Warrior Gal is talking about one of the things. I think what we need to do and keep doing anytime that there is a legal protest going on someplace or where they're having an event against the impeachment, you should be there. I will be there if there is an event like that. I don't suspect there'll be one in California, but I would certainly participate in it. And we have to show our Congress people and we have to show the public what is going on that they're not aware of. And I think some people on the left are waking up to realize that this is not what they want to be done in the Democrat Party. I'll have to tell you, I feel sorry for you who are Democrats. You have lost your party. It is now the Socialist Party. Warrior Gal said there will always be more of us than of them. Harley said he has to be able to conduct business. Absolutely. And by having her come back, there is nothing that is going to get done. They can do more without her being there, without the Democrats being there, because they don't come there with a plan to do anything. They're not going to do anything. They don't want to do anything. Look how, a week we appear to the rest of the world, Harley Guy says. Yeah, I mean, they're laughing at us when you have people that you invite here, like the guy from Italy, you invite him here, and then what happens? You have people standing up and kind of like making fun of the president. They're so disrespectful. That would never have happened under Obama, and in fact, it never happened under Obama. If it happened once, it was, that person probably was never invited back into the White House. Let's see. Now, let me have another one here. Some more stuff I wanted to show you. Yeah, we did Lindsay already. Here's what President Trump, if I can get to that and bring this up, what he had to say about Lindsey Graham. And, I'm sorry, President Trump, he really has Lindsey Graham's number. He really does. And I just like the American public, we pretty much have Lindsey's number. So let me bring this up for you.
You see, Lindsey Graham just said of your remarks that you made in the Oval Office that if you keep talking like that, quote, this will be a disaster worse than Obama's decision to leave Iraq.
No, Lindsey Graham would like to stay in the Middle East for the next 1,000 years with thousands of soldiers and fighting other people's wars. I want to get out of the Middle East. I think Lindsey should focus right now on judiciary, like the Democrats, the do-nothing Democrats, as I call them, because they're doing nothing. They're getting nothing done. They're not getting USMCA done between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. They're getting nothing done. And I think Lindsey should focus on judiciary. He ought to find out about what happened with Comey, what happened with McCabe, Lisa, what happened with Peter Strzok, what happened with President Obama, what happened with Brennan. That's what Lindsey ought to focus on. That's what the people of South Carolina want him to focus on. The people of South Carolina don't want us to get into a war with Turkey, a NATO member, or with Syria. Let them fight their own wars. They've been fighting for 1,000 years. Let them fight their own wars. The people of South Carolina want to see those troops come home. And I want an election based on that. And that's the way it is, whether it's good or bad. That's the way it is. And if you
I love that. I mean, he doesn't mince words. He's absolutely correct. He understands what Lindsey is doing. He understands that who the people are that are around him. That this was beautiful. Thanks, President Trump. Absolutely. Nina says exactly. Lou Dobbs ripped Graham. Good. Gray zone. That's how a boss has to act. Great response. Do nothing pirates. Yep. Bring our troops home. Warrior gal said. Yep. Lynn said 3 hearts. Absolutely. I mean, he said exactly. I think the people in South Carolina were cheering and said, yeah, Lindsey, why don't you listen to the president? Why don't you work for us? What is it, Lindsey, about? Here's what we should do. Whoever can, has time in this, and if I have time, I'll try to look into it more and do research. There's some reason that John McCain wanted to be over in Syria. And there's some reason that Lindsey Graham is carrying on that legacy. Yeah, I know, Gina. They oppose war when it's good for them, and they don't oppose war when it's good for them. But we need to find out what it is. What's the draw for Lindsey? Why does he want to continue being over there? Why is he so adamant about we'll never leave Turkey over his dead body? I think there's more there than meets the eye. I don't know if I have time to go and research it all, but anybody who has time, start just researching some things and seeing what's there to put things together. Now, also, let's see. Matt gets, Beth said, yes, well said, Susan, thank you. Matt Gaetz canceled something that he was going to do today. He was going to lead a delegation of over 30 Republican members of Congress in a press conference outside of the House Intelligence Committee, where they will demand increased transparency and inclusion in the impeachment process from House Democrats, specifically Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff. But because Elijah Cummings passed away, he canceled that for today and said, due to the loss of our dear colleague, Chairman Elijah Cummings, today's previously scheduled press conference has been postponed. Many are in mourning, and we hope that peace and comfort can enter the hearts of those who cared for Elijah. Now, the strange thing is, I can respect that he wants to do that, but the Democrats are continuing their hearings today. Their own Congress member on their party died, and they're not taking a break. We can't afford to take a break. So, I like I said, I respect Matt, but I think Matt should have gone ahead with it. McCain had something on Lindsey, and maybe McCain's family is threatening Lindsey on the dirt, Kim said. I am extra concerned about the rally as the Dallas police are shorthanded. Fort Worth police usually. Not good, Barbara. There's Lindsey's number, 202-224-5972. Matt Gaetz was one of the 6 House Republicans voting against their disgusting vote. Help but are in a funk right now. I like that for those who care. Yeah, I read something this morning. I don't know if it's true. It just came up on social media that said that they were canceling the buses coming into Dallas that were supposed to bring the people in and out of Dallas. So I don't know what Dallas is doing. I know Dallas is kind of liberal. Dallas needs to get their stuff together. And that's why I started out with my prayers this morning for President Trump. I pray that God is there tonight and stops any harm that may try to come against him. Cummings lost his way, like McCain, Warrior Gal said. Cummings' wife, I'm interesting to see what may go forward with Cummings' wife, because she was under investigation for a couple things. 800 police short, and we are in the middle of a state fair, Barbara said. Not good. Not good, not good. Okay. Couple other things before we go. This is out of Florida. Let me see if I can bring this up for you. Let's see. Well, I don't necessarily need this this photo. I was going to show you the photo of this lady, but there is a woman, her Representative Kim Daniels, who is a Democrat, and this is in Florida, and she has House Bill 341, which will require each school district to offer specified courses relating to religion, Hebrew scriptures, and the Bible to certain students as elective courses. In addition to the study of the Bible and religion, the bill would permit a brief meditation period at every school in the state. I think it's good that they're trying to bring it back in. Hey, Kim, 2Tex, how are you? But, yeah, watch out for the grassy knoll, Rick said. Protection, yes. People keep saying JFK is concerning, Beth said. It's concerning. God is greater, and we'll just have to ask God for his protection and to help everybody, even though they're shorthanded. He does have the Secret Service around that. He didn't need all the people in Mississippi, or excuse me, in Minnesota. Hopefully that will be true of Dallas, Texas. It's a positive thing about the school Bible studies. Yeah, I just would be a little concerned about who's teaching the Bible studies and what exactly they're saying. Trump called out ABC yesterday showing building burning in Syria, but was a picture from it was Kentucky, BC. It was Kentucky, not Tennessee. And he called him out. Yes, he did. All right. And I want to tell everybody who's looking for a job, you need to get over to Los Angeles quickly here. The Uber drivers in Los Angeles are demanding that they be paid $30 an hour minimum wage for being an Uber driver. Now, many people who have bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, they don't even make $30 an hour. But these people who drive an Uber, their own personal cars around, they would like $30 an hour, $15 hourly wage, and $15 per hour to cover their expenses. Yes. So if you want a job and you want to make a lot of money and you have no education whatsoever, because none is required, just get yourself on out to LA. Hope that they pass that and that you get $30 an hour. So either that or never take an Uber again. So yeah, it is insane, Gina. The world is kind of, drifting off to that way. Once they passed a law in California that all of these Uber drivers are no longer going to be seen as independents, they're going to be employees. So, hey, Sylvia, good to see you. Yes, LA clowns. Absolutely. I mean, I don't make it up. You have it right there. This is from the KTLA, the station in Los Angeles. Lawmakers on Tuesday took the first step toward a minimum wage for tens of thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers, approving a study. See what they're going to do now. They're going to just do a study of how the law would work and how it would be enforced to give them $30 an hour. So there's still time to not do it. Do they do Harley Ubers? I'm telling you, sounds like the fares are going up. Yeah, I was kicked out of an Uber. Who was that who said that? Somebody, Gina was kicked out. Oh my gosh. Do they do? Let's see. Sounds like the fares are going up. Say goodbye to Uber. Uber drivers here are horrible. New York will be looking for taxi drivers. Well, New York, let me just say, if this law works in California and they make them employees and they get $30 an hour, you better believe that every Democrat state's going to do that. I think my comments weren't coming up earlier, backed out and came back in. Sylvia said, yeah, Sylvia, I didn't see yours at all until just now. Would you believe a foreigner Uber driver kicked me out? Yeah, Gina, I mean, I can believe that. I don't take Ubers. I tried driving Uber, not worth it, Kim said. He told me he changed his mind. Were you wearing a cross or something, Gina? What was it that scared him? Anyway, so ridiculous. Well, I want to thank you all for being here today. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, if you would, please share all this Periscope today, retweet it, share it with everybody. And God bless you. And until tomorrow, keep praying for the president. Please say prayers all day long, if you will, for the president's safety tonight and for going forward, and pray that God would destroy his enemies as pursuant to Psalm 143, verse 12. Until tomorrow, God bless you. See you then. Take care.